5 seconds doesn't sound dangerous. You can hold your breath longer than that. But if the ground beneath you stopped rotating for only 5 seconds, entire oceans would keep moving, the atmosphere would refuse to stop, and the safest place on Earth would be somewhere almost nobody lives. The strangest part: the first disaster wouldn't happen when Earth stopped. It would happen when it started again. First, the rules of our thought experiment. Earth's solid crust suddenly stops. Gravity remains. Earth stays in orbit. But the air, water, vehicles, people, and everything not fused to bedrock keep the momentum they already had. 5 seconds later, the planet snaps back to its original speed. Impossible in reality, but perfect for revealing how much hidden motion surrounds you right now. And your exact latitude may decide whether those 5 seconds feel like a hurricane or the end of the world. Standing still is an illusion. Near the equator, Earth's surface carries you east at roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour, more than 1,000 miles per hour. At mid-latitudes, the speed is lower. Near the geographic poles, it approaches zero. You don't feel it because the ground, atmosphere, oceans, and you share nearly the same motion. But remove the moving ground, and that invisible speed becomes the story. At the equator, people and unsecured objects would continue eastward at tremendous speed relative to the suddenly stationary ground. Buildings would not simply blow over. The difference in motion would turn debris into projectiles. Cars, trees, rooftops, and water would be swept east. Farther north and south, the relative speed declines, but most populated regions would still experience forces beyond ordinary storms. But the atmosphere is only the first moving layer. The heavier one is about to arrive. The oceans contain vastly more mass than the atmosphere. They would keep their eastward momentum, surging across coastlines and piling into continents. The exact behavior would be extraordinarily complex. Ocean depth, coastline shape, latitude, and terrain all matter. But coastal regions would face the fastest danger. Even inland waterways and lakes would slosh violently, like water in a glass when your hand stops suddenly. And while the surface is being hit from the east, the sky creates a second, completely different problem. Earth's rotation helps organize large-scale winds and ocean currents through the Coriolis effect. 5 seconds is too short for the climate system to rebuild itself, but an instantaneous stop would create violent, disorganized flow relative to the ground. Weather satellites would watch familiar patterns become buried beneath a planet-wide shock of turbulence. Aircraft already in motion would face extreme, rapidly changing winds and navigation chaos. Remember the latitude clue? The closer you are to Earth's rotational axis, the lower your tangential speed. That makes areas near the geographic poles less exposed to the sideways momentum difference than the equator. Less exposed does not mean safe. Oceans, atmospheric disturbances, ice movement, and the planet's restart remain dangerous. But in this specific scenario, high polar terrain far from open water offers a better chance than a low coastal city near the equator. Where are you watching from? And how fast are you moving right now? Keep that answer in mind. Some dramatic claims don't follow from our 5-second rules. Gravity would not vanish. Earth would not fall into the sun. Everyone would not fly into space. The planet would not instantly become perfectly round. Earth's equatorial bulge developed over immense time, and the crust cannot reshape itself in 5 seconds. The catastrophe comes from momentum, not from gravity switching off. Now experience the 5 seconds. At 5, the ground stops. At 4, air and loose objects race east relative to the surface. At 3, coastal water begins its devastating surge. At 2, turbulence wraps around terrain and cities. At 1, the planet is still stationary, but everything above it is moving. Then Earth restarts. The restart is the twist. During the pause, the atmosphere and oceans have been colliding with the stationary surface and losing or redirecting momentum. If the crust instantly jumps back to its old rotational speed, the ground accelerates east beneath material that is now moving differently. The world suffers a second jolt. New impacts, reversed relative winds in some regions, and another violent movement of water. Surviving the stop would not mean surviving the restart. Even though the event lasted only 5 seconds, its consequences would last for years. Infrastructure, coastlines, agriculture, communications, power grids, and transport networks would be devastated. Dust and smoke could alter regional weather. Humanity's challenge would no longer be the moving planet. It would be rebuilding on a world whose systems had failed almost simultaneously. So the next time you feel perfectly still, remember, you're riding a planet moving faster than a jet. 5 seconds could expose all of that hidden speed. Would you rather face this or 5 seconds without gravity? Tell us below and subscribe for the next impossible question.